this season really needs that. I mean, some people need an out. Some people need an opportunity to tap out at this moment right now, because time is so precious.
Yeah, agreed. Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. This is Crystal Denise Speaks. I'm back here with my girls, and we are going to be discussing Married at First Sight, Season 12, Episode 11. Hey ladies.
Hi. How's everyone doing?
Oh, I'm great. It's Saturday morning, and I feel wide awake. And I'm ready to talk about this episode. Yeah, it was a pretty okay episode.
It was okay. I will say, we'll get into it, but the focus towards the end was hard to get through on Ryan and Clara. It hurts me.
Oh,
it hurts. They were like the last 30 minutes. It was just of sitting there watching them watch themselves on camera.
Let's actually, I agree.
It hurts to watch them interact.
Let's just go ahead and start with Clara and Ryan then, because I agree that was. And I put my picture up first, y'all. I'm so proud of myself.
But
I still don't buy it. I just don't. That's all I can say whenever we talk about them. I don't. I don't know if did you notice how, especially, I guess I'm starting backwards, but when they were sitting on the couch watching them, how she was looking at him.
Yeah, it was just, first of all, yes, I noticed that, and it was just shocking. But let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
It shocked the heck out of me that she had been moving into his apartment or his house already.
I'm so confused by that.
Why would you do that?
It's so weird.
Only for you to have to move your stuff out again.
Right. She's going to be moving that stuff out in 2 weeks. I don't know.
Because of that, y'all, do y'all think that we are very much wrong about their situation? Because they are some mature, smart adults, right? So why would you make that decision to start moving your stuff? I feel like there's got to be something going on behind cameras that we're not aware of, that they have this major connection. It is so weird, because the action of her moving some of her stuff in and what we see, I'm like, just like Alex, why are you doing that? I hate moving. You're going to be moving right back out. Why are you doing that?
And it's going to be annoying. And she's moving stuff, legit, not the coffee mug or full blown boxes. And then I don't know, just the interaction. Do you remember when she was in his house and she was like, yeah, so definitely gonna need you to clear out the guest room, because then, and I can't wait to order all those DVDs. I have to alphabetize them, and then once I do that, and then I can rearrange, and then we need to make space in the bed. And I'm just, in his face, it just looks like he always to me looks annoyed, and he looks overwhelmed, and it doesn't look like it never looks like he's excited to me.
It's so, but you know what's so crazy to me? Karen and Miles from last season. I just was shocked when she said yes on decision day. And I'm shocked that they're still together. And he talked a lot about how she was off camera. She was much different off camera and all of that. So maybe, like you said, Alex, or Bri, I don't know who said it, maybe there is stuff that we're not seeing, and maybe, because why in the world would you be moving stuff into what we see? It doesn't look like you should be moving anything to his house. You shouldn't be going over to his house to visit. That's how y'all just seem to not be connecting. And I just don't get it. But yeah, he always looks overwhelmed. He always just kind of looks like, oh, what did I get myself into? And then I just felt like with that, what you're saying, Alex, I felt like that was so inappropriate. I get that you're moving into his house, and you do have to, he does need to be able to make you feel comfortable. You're not just in his house. This is our home together now. However, you also can't go into his house and tell him that all of his stuff is trash and needs to get out. Like, she basically was like, yeah, that dresser needs to go. Like, and then you saw they opened up the cabinets, and did you see how the cabinet was like fixed and organized now?
Yes, I saw it. Yeah, because remember, that joint was on slant. Like,
oh, I missed that.
Yeah,
that one where the shelf was just broken, so she fixed it and had it organized.
Oh, that was done.
Yeah,
like, arranged.
I feel like it has to be something going on off camera that we don't see, because there's no reason he would let her take over like that unless this is an effort of really trying. And I don't know. I'm trying to fast forward. I wish I could fast forward and see. Tell me for real what's going on, because this is killing me, because y'all, the actions and the words is just not, it's not meshing well for me. But she's been consistent though. She's been very consistent with her personality that's coming out, like how she told him all his stuff was trash. I wish I could have did that to my husband, and I waited 2 years before I started getting rid of his stuff. Like, she was like, nope, this gotta go now. But she taught like she's very particular, and she likes things a certain way. So at least that's one part of her that she's allowing to continue to come out and share. Because I feel like he's silencing a lot of other parts of her, but I don't know. That was so shocking. Even her homegirl Virginia was like, "Oh wow,
yeah,
surprised."
Yeah,
everybody was surprised because they don't, and so that tells me one thing. I think they see them or know a little bit more off camera, and they know a little bit more than we know.
Mm-hmm.
So for her to even for them to be surprised, that says something.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And I feel like, I know that it's like they do all the right things, like they kind of touch a lot and lean in or whatever, but it's weird. It looks, like even when I just keep thinking about the couch, like them sitting watching their wedding really stuck out to me. And also the part, I don't know if you remember when they were waiting for the helicopter ride, sitting on the chairs next to each other. And she was so, what is it that you like the most? Or what about this whole experience have you enjoyed the most with me? And he was like, oh, that's a good question. He was struggling for so long. And I was like, it should not take you that long to think about, like, what do you like? Because it was really definitive, like, not just about the time, but like your time with me. Like, what did you like the most about this whole experience? Like, what have you liked so far? And it really, and I don't know, maybe you need to process. Let me try to give the benefit of the doubt. Maybe. But I saw in her face when she was watching him, she was like
she's always looking like that.
Seriously, like you can't think of anything off the top of your head. Like, what's going on? And she just looked, I'll tell you, she looked over it a lot this episode to me.
I just struggle with that one because I feel like that's just exactly what we see from him all the time. Like, he is, I don't like to use the word calculated, but it's like he is so cautious of his audience maybe, and what his response will be, instead of just speaking from the heart. It's like he's taken think before you speak to a whole nother level, almost to the point where it's not genuine. And that's what bothered me. It was out. And my thought was, either he's overthinking this because he wants to, be aware of what he says on camera for the show, or it's that difficult for you to speak and say what your favorite party is. And both of them are equally bother me. That's a problem right there. And he shouldn't have struggled with that question. That was really awkward.
I thought that was just me. Okay. Because I'm like, I know that everyone has to process a bit differently and it takes a bit longer, but I just felt like, I don't know. We're like, how many weeks in? I just felt like that should have been a little bit quicker to me. So.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
What about when he called her pal?
And that's when I appreciated her too. I'm like, I'm so glad she said something. Like I'm so happy that she's not, I was so glad she said something, because a lot of women probably would have been like set back and process it in their head and then probably talk to their girlfriends about it. But I was so happy that she was like, pal, like if he called her pal, that says something.
And then
too.
she said, like, I don't know about that, or like, don't call me that. So I agree, Brie. I'm like, good for you for, I just, why would you do that? Why would you call me that?
Right. I'm glad she spoke up, because it seems like a lot of times, like, he does stuff and she doesn't like it, but she just is kind of like going with it. Like, she doesn't want to rock the boat. She doesn't want to upset him or come off a certain way. But I mean, the last thing I want to say about them is, as they were watching the wedding video, Ryan seemed like such a different person in the video than he has presented as the season has gone. Like, he was telling her, oh, you've been with me through all these situations and I haven't even known you. He was just super expressive, and he just seemed like he was, I don't know. He just, to me, he presented different at the wedding than he has throughout the season.
You think so? Like, he gave more personality, more like kind of interest?
I feel
at the wedding.
That's when they were watching those videos back and he was reading the vows and stuff. He has not been expressive like that at all, and maybe that's because he had written out vows, and he was, like Brie said, he was able to sit down, make them sound the way he wanted them to sound, and he took that time to do that. But even just from like before they got married, he just, I don't know, he just comes off so flat to me. Watching them, I wrote down, like, it's painful to watch them at this point.
Yeah, I don't see it.
It could be who she turned out to be. Not at all that she's a bad person. Not saying that at all, but it's just, maybe that's not the match he was expecting, and because of that, it changed. It changed his actions, how he's interacting, or what we see. I don't know. It is kind of painful. It's I'm ready for it to be over, because at this point, I'm like, I want to see what's real, because I don't believe what I'm seeing. So I want to see the real. There's so much about this season that I'm like, please tell me what's really going on, because I have to get out. I want to get out. Like, all of these are a big relationship, and I want to get out of all of it.
We're in a toxic relationship at this point.
We are.
Okay, the last thing, I agree. I think, Brie, what you just said, like, that's a good point about just about, maybe him presenting and maybe just wanting to, and him being so focused on that as opposed to just kind of speaking from the heart. But there are some things that I'm like, why would you have to think about that deeply? Like, there have been some things she's asked, or some things I feel like he's always serious. There's nothing that's just kind of lighthearted. And and maybe he is just a serious person. And so I guess, maybe that, I feel like she's struggling though. I do, like, internally battling against, like, should I, I know this is a good guy, he's responsible, whatever, just move forward, or do I need more? Because did anyone pick up on when she said at the very end, and it was even after, I think they thought, like, they watched the video, I promise you I heard her say, I don't know what if I will say yes on decision day.
She did.
Her say that? And I'm like, how could you say that? And then, but you've moved your stuff in. And I know that that's not the first time she's felt like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think she's probably doing some of the things that Paige did. I don't even want to say Chris did it, because I don't feel like that was his motivation. I mean, I feel like he was wrong, sleeping with Paige, when he knew that he wasn't attracted. And so I do think Haley's was doing things because she was like, okay, I'm a wife, I'm supposed to do, or maybe, this is what I'm supposed to do, and it'll fall in line. And so maybe she's doing the same things, like, okay, we're married and we said we were going to move into his house, so let me go ahead, so I don't know. Y'all let us know what you think in the comments. Do y'all think Clara and Ryan have any chance at all? And
Or if you see something else that we don't see, maybe someone else sees this beautiful flowering connection. Maybe like the lens, our lens is like not rose colored. We're seeing through something different. Because I need to know if anyone else has a different perspective or view on them.
That's
mine has been the same from the very beginning. I was like, I don't buy it.
Yeah. Yeah, same here. Yep, let us know if y'all see things differently. All right, let's go ahead and move on to Haley and Jacob.
This makes
I know. I feel like I don't have a lot to say because we're just saying the same things every week. But basically, I like Haley a lot. I feel like she's trying. I don't feel like she's malicious. I feel like she really is trying. But I think at this point, she just like, I feel like she should be, I wrote down, she should be as honest with Jacob as she is with the girls. Because when she gets with the girls, she's, you know, tells them like, this is what it is.
But what does she say? What does she say? Does she give specifics about what it is with him that she hasn't told him?
I don't feel like it. I feel like
she say
roundabout way.
She said something very specific. Oh, she was talking about his sense of humor. And she was like, you know, he'll do things where like he's doing stuff to be odd on purpose, like, but that's his sense of humor, but he's not really letting her in on the joke. And so it's just falling flat and confused. And, you know, so he needs to tell him that, like, I don't like when you do that. Like, that's weird. Like, it makes me uncomfortable. Like, I
feel like she may have done that because she mentioned it when she mentioned it to them. She said something. She kind of communicated that to a point where she had that same conversation with him to let him know that she didn't realize it was a joke. I don't know. I think she's getting better. I think she's doing as much as she can without her flat out hurting his feelings. I mean, I don't know how specific you can be other than just saying, look, I don't like you. I don't know. I'm torn with my words because I would feel to be in her situation because it's got to be so difficult because she obviously is a very nice person. She truly cares about not hurting him, but it's how much can you really say to somebody? And the fact that he's so closed off and gets so upset, it's like he's mad at her for not like and holding it against her for not liking him. Like she the only person in the world that never liked him back.
Yeah,
like come on, sir.
I wrote that very same thing down that he's. I mean, I feel like he's also trying as hard as and being as patient as he can possibly be. And he's trying also, and I don't think he's a bad guy at all. But I do agree with you, Brie. And I think Carrie said this last week, like he's basically mad at her for not liking him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, so she definitely did when she was communicating about the humor and like the fact that, you know, you're saying the most odd thing or whatever to try to be funny or be uncomfortable on purpose. Like some people's humor is like being uncomfortable, like making people feel uncomfortable. That's what she was saying. Like that's his humor, is making you feel uncomfortable and saying odd things on purpose. And she was like, to try to be funny, but she was like, but I don't know that. So you have to let me in on the joke. And she did say, she was like, I was telling him like, you have to at least tell me that because I don't know. Otherwise I'm looking at you like the other people are like, this is weird. I don't get it. And I'm uncomfortable. So there's that. And I don't know if like, you have to be very, well, I was going to say self-aware, but I guess he is self-aware if he knows that he's doing that. But I don't know if he's self-aware in the sense that he realizes how it makes other people feel and how it can kind of shift the environment. You know what I'm saying? By you acting that way. So, and I don't know if that's such a ingrained part of someone. So I don't know if he would be willing to change that. I mean, he has changed, you know, like changing your clothes and whatever, or getting a haircut. Like that's different from like, if your sense of humor is what it is, I don't know if that's something that a part of him that he would be willing to change for her. And I don't know if he cares to enough, but yeah, I feel like for sure he definitely gets mad. And it's like when he gets mad about her not liking him, he doesn't just get mad. He like lets stuff fly out purposely back to back to back to hurt her until she cries, kind of, you know.
And then he look at her crazy because she cries.
Yeah, and then he just sits there like this, like all big-eyed and weird. It's just it's not going to work.
It's not a match.
And I feel like they keep trying to force it. And I do appreciate both of them really trying to work at it, but I just don't feel like that's a good match. And again, I feel like they keep reeling us in, like Paige and Chris, because you see the preview for the next episode is like, oh, we had fun playing bumper cars. Or on their little date.
Well, it's because they brought in that psychic. I think she thought the psychic was going to be on her side. I think she tried to call the psychic before and like tell him that this will never work, so we can get out of this right now. And then the psychic was like, I'm a team Jacob. It was so weird, but yeah, I agree. What'd you say?
Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, I agree with you. We're just saying, like, they keep reeling us in, like Paige and Chris, like, oh, and then yeah.
And that psychic, I think she did a good job though, because I thought she was going to be more on Haley's side too, but I felt like she kind of read them both. Like both of y'all are doing too much, and both of y'all could make this work, but y'all are both trying to, it's a power struggle. And then basically she was like, your stars are aligned. It's written in the stars. And Haley was like, have you seen that?
It
before?
is?
She was like, no. Basically it's one of a kind. I was like, so I was like, I don't know, like, I don't know about the authenticity of that.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not even thinking any about that was authentic.
So I'm like, but I just wanted to know kind of what the purpose of bringing that in was. Like, I guess, whatever, to throw some type of drama, not drama, but some type of storyline in there. But I'm like, okay, so I felt like Haley kind of a little bit got something from that though,
Yeah.
Like a teeny bit, because when the lady was saying like both of their sign, whatever, like their moon or like they're both aligned to each other, and Haley, had asked that follow-up question. I don't know. I felt like she kind of got something from it.
Yeah, for me, I don't ever want to be in like if I have to work too hard, and I know that's bad. And I tell myself sometimes, like as far as relationships go, like Crystal, it is hard work. And you do have to put in some work, because I will be really quick to just be like, this is too much. I don't have time for this. And clearly, like when you get married and stuff, you can't do that. But I mean, obviously they're married, so they do have to put in the work, but they don't know each other. I think if they were dating, like Haley said, she would have been gone. Like if I was Haley, like I'm not going to be dating somebody that I got to work really hard to make this make sense. Like, no, I want it to be like natural, like Woody and Amani. They were just so like it just clicked, like Bree, like Bree and Vincent. It's just clicking. Like I don't want to have to make the puzzle piece fit. It needs to fit. That's just me.
Yeah, and it doesn't necessarily have to be. And I think that's absolutely possible, even if it's with someone who like physically, like just like even if it's not love at first sight, there can still be a strong connection in the beginning. Obviously the physical appearance, it will help, but I've seen it happen, and it's absolutely possible. It may not be somebody that you would normally pick out the crowd, but y'all could be so compatible that you connect on so many other levels, and then that attraction grows. But with them, it seems like if there is truly something that they have so much in common and that connects them, they haven't been able to find that and connect on that at all. And I don't. I mean, she's trying so hard, it's painful, and I can see that he's trying to, but he doesn't know how to try. It's not working, y'all.
Yeah.
And you talk about like it's painful to watch. This one is more painful to watch than
you think so?
I do because I do. I feel for both of them.
I feel like Clara and Ryan is more painful because
me too. I can't.
I feel like for Haley and Jacob, it's pretty clear this is not it. Yeah. But for Clara and Ryan, like to me, for Ryan, this is not it. But for Clara, she thinks it is and she doesn't know. And so that's why it's more painful for me, for them.
I also feel like it's easier to watch Jacob and Haley because they're upfront about what it is. I don't like being lied to. And I feel like Ryan and Clara are lying to me. I don't appreciate it. And I don't want it to happen anymore.
I agree.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. Are they gonna have a what is it where they do it in the middle?
I don't know. The recommitment.
Yes. I haven't seen any. I haven't seen any previews for that, and I feel like this season really needs that. I mean, some people need an out. Some people need an opportunity to tap out at this moment right now because time is so precious.
Yeah, agreed.
And I feel like, honestly, too, for Haley and Jacob, I think it's going to start doing a disservice and making where it's going to do more harm than good for them being able to move forward with whoever else is going to be the next person. You know, Haley, whoever is the next person for Haley and for Jacob, they got 10 times more work to do, I feel like, because of this situation. They're starting to like do more, I think, of a disservice than it being like an addition. So yeah. And I think that that's the point when, because I know everyone's so stuck on like, you know, this is marriage, blah, blah. But I think when it starts to affect you, like Haley, literally to me, she just seems so sad. Like her eyes look so sad. She just.
Yes, this is not happy. She's not.
Yeah, she's like so unhappy.
Yeah.
So I feel like that, you know, you choose your sanity. I say my sanity over everything. Like, girl, if you're not happy, then anyone can see that you tried to, both of them. Like they both deserve awards for trying. So
yeah, like I see a little bit I see a little bit of Haley. I see a little bit of like I feel like a little bit of her dies on the inside every time she's talking to somebody and they're like encouraging her to do something else or like try a different way. Like when she talked to her girlfriends and like, okay, so what is it that you can do? Or, you know, I think she is really has like, it's hanging on the hope that somebody says, okay, it's not working. Maybe she just wants somebody to give her an excuse to have an out. Maybe you should walk away, but they keep on encouraging her. And I just see a little bit of her die on the inside. Like here I go again. I don't know. I feel for her.
Me too. Let us know in the comments. I mean, I feel like everybody should be on the same page with this, but
I do too.
Tell us what y'all think in the comments about Haley and Jacob. All right, let's go ahead and talk about Brianna and Vincent, our favorite couple. I'm just like, you know what, y'all, I decided I'm not going to ever say anything else about Champagne Vinny anymore, you know, because I just feel like, yeah, he be doing these, you know, he gets in his feelings or whatever. But I feel like how amazing he is outweighs all of that. So it's kind of like, I'll give him a pass on like acting like a baby a couple times. I will give him a pass.
Girl, look at you bubbling over.
I know. I'm like, is it a second maybe somewhere? Just playing. No, but I just love them. I love them, and I love I don't know. I just love them. I wrote down. I was like, oh, I want to be Brianna's friend, not so that I can steal her husband, but you know, just to be her friend.
Girl,
I can't. Yeah, I don't have too much to say. I feel like it was the whole. I liked that the boat, that experience he provided for her. Like that was an appropriate gift. I know we're gonna get to them later, but the gifts of like. If somebody had given me a blanket with their face and their dog, no.
Wait, who did that?
The coordinates.
No, you didn't miss that.
To me, I was just like, what?
Wait, what? Excuse me. I missed.
We'll get to that, girl.
Okay.
Virginia.
For y'all to be so into each other and so those gifts were a chop and a miss. Like, I feel like gift giving says a lot, and we'll get there. But yes, that was inappropriate. That was a nice experience. I always love experiences as gifts, you know. That's something that I feel like is always, you know, a little bit more memorable, like something you guys enjoy together. So I really like that he, you know, gave that to Brianna, and yeah, he's come quite a way. There's been growth. So
I mean, I just love how he's always talking about, you know, he was talking about, you know, I think about just taking care of my family, you know, Brianna and Cookie. Like he talking about Cookie, like Cookie is the baby for real.
The baby. Okay, Cookie gets mentioned every time when it's time to pay. When he talk about paying bills and he talk about moving into a house, he be like, because I have to take care of my family, Cookie, and I gotta pay these bills. I gotta make sure Cookie got her food. Okay, yes, Cookie is the baby. Yes. I love it.
That's when I was like, I'm here for everything Vincent has, because he literally be talking about Cookie like Cookie is the baby, and I'm taking care of Cookie and Brianna. Okay, I'm done.
So sweet.
Yeah, they are so adorable. I love them. I feel like, you know, they're working hard for their marriage too. You know, they're really getting to know each other. I loved his gift. Like, you're right, Alex. Like, gift giving says a lot. If you can think about, like, you know, this person, even the little bit of them that you do know, you know, so it doesn't have to be some grand gesture, but something where you know that y'all have connected on a certain level. And I don't know, I even like them as people too. You know, I like how, like, BRIANA specifically, I haven't really seen where Vincent has been asked a lot about different things that are going on, but like, even with her, she's so the type of person she is. That's why I know that she really, like, those couple situations where her communication has rubbed him the wrong way, I truly believe that it wasn't intentional. But even when she was asked about, like, what's her name, Paige and Chris' relationship, she was still very, like, I would think it would be very hard for somebody in her situation to be not to say some really damaging things, but she was so PC about it. She was just like, you know, she was like, it's difficult to watch, but I don't know. So I like them as, I like their character, and I like them together as a couple. And I feel like they are so mature. They are committed to this marriage and really not hanging on any of the bumps and trying to continue to move forward, for the longevity of it. So I really like them.
Yeah, I agree. Let us know in the comments what y'all think about BRIANA and Vincent. If you have anything bad to say about them, stay out the comments. I'm just playing. Just kidding. Let us know what you think. But I can't imagine you can have anything to say about them negative. I don't know. All right, let's go ahead. I think we should save, we'll save that other couple for the end, because I hope this is the last time we talk about them. So let's go ahead and talk about Virginia. Right. I'm like, I don't ever want to talk about them again. So let's talk about Virginia and Eric first. Not that I really want to talk about them either. Mainly Eric, but yeah. Yeah, so basically their conversation when they were on their picnic, and him talking about if she wants to be with him, she has to live at his house. Like, if she want to be with me, she got to stay at his house. Like, he is just, I just cannot with him. I just cannot stand him. He has the most gross superior attitude. I just, like, you are not the end all be all. You're not. Stop talking about when you lived with somebody before and all these things. You failed. It didn't work. You were not good at it. Like, you're divorced. So there's some things that maybe you didn't do well the first time. Like, you're a pilot and you're just like, whoever is going to be with me has to deal with that. And, like, basically everyone is just going to have to deal with how he is, how he feels, what he thinks, what he believes. There's no compromise on his end. Like, and fine, that's your profession as a pilot. You worked really hard and that's going to be like a deal breaker for you. That's cool. But then that means you need to be willing to bend for someone else. I don't know. I'm just so over him. He's controlling. I love that Virginia was like, I love that she is standing her ground. And she like, no, I'm not moving into your place. And then the way he was trying to talk down to her, I own my home. You're renting. She was like, I'm not dumb. I know what that means. Like, yeah. So you can go ahead and rent he can rent his place out and they can get a new place together. Mm-hmm. Like, why would you try to control every part of her life? Why would she want to move into your home? Okay, I'm done.
Yeah. Go ahead, Chris. No, I agree. I was proud of her too for saying, like, why you don't have to explain, because he was like, so when you rent, you don't own. Oh, don't do that. And I appreciate her for speaking up for herself and saying, why are you talking to me like I'm dumb? And then she also was saying again, like, why do you always have to bring up, like, so you may not know this or prior to. So I was glad for her saying that. And then, yeah, the moving in thing, I completely understand about her not wanting to, because I feel like she's probably going to feel like swallowed whole by being into his place, you know, like she's whatever little bit of Virginia she has left, like that will just be kind of gone by her moving into his place. And I feel like it's good to want to just if you have the funds and the means to. Obviously, if you don't, then that's fine. But he always talk about he's a pilot, he's well off, blah, blah. But if you have the means to move into a neutral territory and then build together, why not do that? And I think that's all that she's saying. Like, that's okay to do. But I think he's just trying to stand on his principle of like owning your home. Like, you can't rent out and still own your home.
Well, he did make it seem like he would be open to a neutral spot, but until they get a neutral spot, his spot has to be the one, you know, and that frustrated me because okay, somebody's gonna be at a loss because it's not like her lease just ends when this, at the end. So either y'all gonna be paying rent at her apartment not being there, or y'all gonna be paying a mortgage and not being there. So he is being completely unreasonable. And hearing Crystal recap all of that, it made my blood boil all over again, because he is so, he does not want to bend. He does not want to be flexible. He seriously shuts down everything. And I commend her too for saying that and speaking up. Like, no, stop telling me you've done this before. I know that. Stop talking to me like I'm a child. Like, I don't know the difference between, like, he is 100% is my way or the highway. And it's that type of attitude that is dangerous. That's the reason he's single now. That's the reason he's single now. It probably didn't work because of him. He thinks anybody who comes into his life has to fit into exactly what he thinks his life should be. Sir, I want them not to work just so he can be a failure again, honestly. Like, he is horrible.
I agree. I want her to say no. I want better for my girl, Virginia. I want her to say no on decision day. And I was thinking about it too, Bri, to what you're saying. When he married the first girl, remember how he was like, it wasn't really a real marriage, but I was in the military and we wanted her, she needs to stay on base. He was probably like, you're going to marry me because we're going to live together in order for us to live together. And we're going to live together on my base with me, He probably orchestrated that whole thing. Him and his whole conservative family, like, I'm so over them. Like, I don't know. It just, over the last couple of weeks, and him just being so I don't know. I don't want to talk about
anti-everything, basically.
Anti-anything he doesn't believe in.
Yeah.
Yes. And also, it's like, do you see kind of a switch when, like, he doesn't like something? It's like, and it's a switch to, well, then you don't have to, you can get out of here. You can't. It's literally, it's no in between. It's like,
it's no discussion.
And he'd be like, well, you don't have to stay here. You can get out, like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that's, to me, is dangerous, because for you to be throwing that so early.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know about that.
I believe that his parents' marriage is what he's trying to get Virginia in, is what he's seen his parents. I believe his mom has sat around and done whatever her husband has said. And the dad is the one that's in controlling everything. He does not see marriage as a partnership. He sees it as a dictatorship. He's in control. He's going to tell you what's going to happen. And that's not, and he needs somebody that's, because he keeps trying to bring up the age thing and all of this, I want somebody on his level that, like, he thinks, who's, who's closer to his age. Well, first of all, he's not going to be able to, probably he needed somebody that was younger and maybe less experienced, because maybe he thought that, I know he didn't pick her, but I bet he probably dates younger women because he probably thinks like, oh, I can manipulate them. I don't know. I don't want to talk about him anymore.
I will just say, like, everything is so wrong about them. Like, I don't understand where their connection is, because what we see, I don't know. Like, they're not on the same page for so many important things when it comes to a marriage. But when they exchange their gifts, I was like, do y'all even know each other? Like, what?
Bingo.
Okay, I do remember the picture.
That said everything that I needed to, it said everything. It showed me everything that I needed to see, because I was like, for y'all to be so lovey-dovey and so, this, and like, as much as they're so into each other, Ryan hit the nail on the head more with CLARA than they did with each other. You know, like Claire saying wedding day, like, oh, I've always wanted to take a helicopter ride, and him, whatever, doing that. I was like, I don't understand. And it seemed like both of their gifts to each other were for each other. You know what I'm saying? Her gift was what she wanted, and his gift was what he wanted.
That's so true.
I was just like, this is horrible.
Yeah, I agree. And I didn't remember what she gave him, but I did remember, the picture he gave her with the coordinates, and she was just like, wait, what? But I think it goes back to what you were saying, Alex and Bree, kind of touching on both of those things. They don't go deep, because when they go deep, they disagree, and it's like they want to just be in la la land, so they just leave it on the table. Like Eric has already said, he doesn't like to talk about, social issues and all these things because they're hard. So all these hard conversations that they need to fight through, they're not. So they don't go deep. They don't know each other on a deep level. They just, yeah.
And yeah, Alex, that is so on point. Like, yeah, those gifts were for each other because they were for themselves. Like, and I feel like Eric, I don't know if him being a pilot, obviously he knows coordinates and, he can read things like that. So I don't know if maybe he's been, how Vincent is self-teaching BRIANA in Spanish, right? So I don't know if Eric is kind of talking a lot about his career and stuff like that. So maybe she should have recognized that. But I felt like they don't have those conversations, and he didn't recognize it. And it was another great example and another great thing for him to be like, oh, let me teach you. Let me tell you what this is. Let me explain this to you. I was just so like, this is gross. Like, where's she gonna put that? Like, let her take her blanket back and you take those coordinates.
Yeah, and take them and go put them somewhere else. Put them in your whack, dry, starch bachelor pad. Like, gross.
It is.
I didn't like it. Didn't care for it. I also am wary of like men who their profession is everything. If you say you're a pilot, I know. We know. If you say you're a pilot one more time, remember she went to his apartment too, and he had like the little wings, and it was something else. No pictures of anybody. No, it wasn't homey at all. Just that glowing light, that leather couch, and like flight stuff. Okay, like we know. What else? I feel like that's his whole identity.
It is. It
100% is.
Yeah.
I'm over him.
And you're right about I forgot what show I was watching, but about the like, don't go wide, go deep. Like that was a quote that I thought was really good. Well said. I think it was Your Honor. But like, you have to go deep. Like you can't afford to just kind of lightly touch and wide, like about random things. Like you have to go deep, especially in marriage or getting to know somebody. And them not doing that, like Crystal said, it's not doing any justice to their relationship. So
it's not. This is for real the last thing I'm gonna say about Eric. But y'all remember the season with it was DC. Brandon and Taylor. Oof. And everybody knew that Brandon was just awful and off, but you didn't know that like low key Taylor was just as bad as he was. And so we didn't get to see that. I feel like Eric is kind of like, we've been hating on Chris this whole time. We can't stand him, but in the meantime, Eric is back here just being all funky. Now we just kind of over Chris at this point, so we can see Eric for who he is, just a mess.
Yeah. Side note too, I also feel like sometimes people just unfortunately they don't bring out the best in you, and that's why it's important to vet and find someone who does bring out like the best in you. I just feel like that was an example of Taylor and Brandon. They did not bring out the best in each other. Like you couldn't convince me of otherwise. No. And for Virginia and Eric, I don't know. I don't know if that's the case. Like I'm trying to figure that out. It doesn't seem like the best is being brought out. And I also, maybe that's just how Eric is. That might just be his, I don't know if there's another side to him.
it seems like he would be taking the best from her, like making her like bottle that up and never, like it's gonna die on the inside, and that's not fair. She's not ready for that. She does, like, it's not going to. He's not gonna mesh with her friends. Just that one get together. No, he's not gonna mesh with her friends. He's not gonna mesh with her, how her character, her personality. It's not gonna work, and she's not about to have kids for you on your timeline. Like, you have to at least get her comfortable to want to do that. This absolutely, I would put money on this is not going to work at all.
Yeah, and I think, Brie, like what you just said, that was my point too. Is like I don't feel like he's bringing the best out in her, and I don't feel like he would. I feel like it would go the opposite way, because Virginia is Virginia, but I feel like she can flourish and grow. Like, she got a lot of growing to do, and I think she's a decent person. I'm curious. I really want to know. I hope they talk about it on the reunion. I want to know what those specific views were, the social issues that they didn't see eye to eye on, because I'm really curious about that. I feel like that
he's not talking about Black Lives Matter. He's not going to talk about
I know. I just want to hear. I want to hear him say it specifically. And he was really trying to dance around it. And I'm just like, for somebody who's all big and bad and what you're not going to do, but you couldn't, say it or whatever. So
yeah, he's not going to talk about equal rights for anyone. He's not going to talk about anything, right? But he's not going to talk about it because it's hard. So, anyways, moving on. The last couple, and hopefully this is the last time I have to put their picture up, and we have to talk about them. Paige and Chris. I mean, they're not even a couple.
They are not, right. That's not even a couple. We got to find two separate pictures for them and be like, let's talk about Paige and let's talk about Chris, because they're not. Like, it is so, this is why are they even doing this, dragging it along? Like, why are they still on here? People would have been exited by now. Y'all are not working towards anything. It's exhausting. It's sad. It's, ugh.
But can we clap it up that this was it? I mean, like, finally.
Is it, Alex?
It is. This is it. This is the end.
I don't believe it.
I unbuckled my seatbelt. I'm like, yes, I'm off this ride. This is it. This is it for me. That was not fun. It wasn't great. It was a lot of highs and lows. But this is where we end. And I'm like, girl, just, clean break. Go ahead and move on. One thing I didn't appreciate, y'all didn't have to still send her a basket. Why would you do that? I would have kicked that basket over outside the door. Don't bring me no basket.
Why are you
celebrating anything?
Why are you opening the basket? Why are you looking at this stuff? Girl, goodbye. Oh my gosh. No.
I was hoping when she watched that video, obviously I know she'll see the whole thing play back, and I'm sure that will be hard to watch. But I really wanted in that wedding video, I was hoping that she would capture, or that the production had captured, when he first saw her and was like, oh, like he cussed.
Yeah.
Because I really was hoping that when she watched it back, like, remember how Haley and Jacob, when they watched it, I think it was them, but he was like really noticing that there was no connection, and just kind of her like grimace, like, and her pullback with this. I don't know if y'all like, to like saying that, but he was like, it really, man, I missed all that. Like, seeing it is like, you really weren't feeling me. But I was really hoping that Paige, that would kind of be a come to moment, and she would be looking like, man, from day one, he really was, a trash bag. I'm just kidding.
I mean, basically,
he was.
It wasn't there,
Yeah. So, okay. So these are my notes from the beginning. He was, he finally got to play basketball with her, which he wanted to play. And it's so funny when they always like greet each other. He gave her that little church hug. And I was like, wow, I'm surprised he even knows how to do a church hug, because he don't know how to lead Bible study. He don't know how to pray, but he got that church hug down. Anyway, so y'all, why was he was acting like he was playing with Shaq. Okay. He was acting like he was playing with Kobe. Like, it's like, dude, you're going to beat her. Like, he was like crossing her over. It was like a serious game. Like, I'm going to beat you and I'm going to beat you hard. But everything they do, he got to, like, when they were playing pool and everything, it's just like, he's so super competitive and he has to like beat her like real bad. Not just like win by 2, but like, Anyways, he was
because
a mess.
that's just his homegirl. That's, I mean, that he like, she completely in the friend zone. He don't think about her as nothing different. So there's no reason to be soft or like take an opportunity to kind of let me show you how to do it type of make your move. He's not even thinking about doing any of that. Let me do some stuff I like to do, and then let me win. Like, because he's not thinking about it. That's not his wife.
Oh, that's so true, Bree. What a great insight.
Yeah. So I had, at one point I wanted to make or get your thoughts on. So I have a friend who watches it too, but she was saying how at the end, remember on the couch, that pool table scene just after it was cringy and it made me so mad. I still don't think that he's gotten read the way that he needs to. Like she still has not given him the full throttle, like talking to that he deserves. If you ask me,
she hasn't.
Like there's been so many times where it was appropriate and warranted, but she hasn't done it, but that's fine. But on the couch when he was like, well, I called you and it was no response. It was no nothing. And she was like, well, you could follow up, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, yeah, I was out with my mom. And I agreed with her, like, for saying, even though it was in her confessional, but I can't drop everything for you. Like, I'm not going to, and like, good for you for not doing that, because I felt like now towards the end, she's more like less about him or whatever. Because at first I felt like her nose was all wide open and it was like, whatever. Yeah, but I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't. And she was like, that's when you follow up, you send a text like, hey, I called. And he was like, I don't text.
Okay, but Alex, you said,
what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? And my thing is, and he was like, you're in the wrong. So I was telling my friend, she was like, well, he said that, he off camera, she doesn't really talk to him and blah, blah. And I'm like, why would she? Like, you are in the wrong. You're in the high, like, you're in the negative times like 50. So you need to be doing, if you're quote unquote serious, whatever you possibly can. It's up to you. Like, yeah, you're right. You're daggone right. She's not responding or showing any of this. She doesn't trust you. You've been horrible to her. So why would she? Like, to me, I'm like, the way he flipped that it was such a Chris thing to do. Like, the victim and you're the one, I've been reaching out to you. We don't talk, blah, blah, blah. It's all of this on camera, whatever. I'm like, so what? So what? You deserved all of that. It just came later than what it should have. That's what you should have been getting way back when you were doing all that stuff to her. But this is a delayed reaction. And so if you really liked her, loved her, like, you have a lot of work to put in. So yeah, you deserve that.
I was okay. Well, you said one key thing that I don't want to forget to say, but she said it to the camera. She says stuff to the camera, and she says stuff when she's talking to the girls. Say it to his face. When they were sitting there talking, she's like, I really appreciate, you putting the time in and coming here, and like, stop thanking him for doing the bare minimum, the stuff that you should be doing because you're married. Why are you thanking him for doing what he's supposed to do? I'm tired of it. And she needs to say it to his face. Okay, I'm sorry. Calm down. Okay. And so, calm down. What was I about to say? Oh, I just lost my whole train of thought with that. But
yeah,
I can't give him that, like, all that emotion. I can't even give that. I just this is such a horrible situation, and I know she's traumatized after going through this. Like,
you can't tell me otherwise. Like,
it's just, this is horrible. And then, I mean, I know, Alex, you said you took your seatbelt off and we're done, but didn't we see a preview of next week where he talking to his
mom?
Oh yeah, but see, it was with his mom. I believe we're done. Yeah, he was talking to his mom, but no, we're done.
Okay, so this is I remember what I was going to say now. So going back to where he was saying, I called you like 7, 8 times, you didn't answer. So I hear what you're saying, Alex, and I did. I wrote down like, dang, he flipped this on her quick. But like, we're not talking about how we came back from our honeymoon and you got on a plane and went to Chicago. We're not talking about how I moved into the apartment and you didn't move into the apartment. We're not talking about how we spent no time together. I said, like, let's call and talk, and you didn't want to do that. Now you calling and talking and the problem answering. But I was I didn't, and maybe they edited and they cut out, but I was bothered by her not responding to him saying, I've called you all these times. I mean, she did say I was with my mom, but that was one time. If you sitting here saying you don't call me 7, 8 times, that I'm not responding and I only want to be with you on camera, like, I do kind of feel like, Paige, what you doing now? I don't know, because you sitting here talking about you really want to make this work and thanking him for being there with you. But if he is reaching out, why are you, like, what's happening? I was confused by that, and I wanted her to respond so that I could have an understanding, and she didn't.
So you believe him that he called her 7 or 8 times? He's a liar.
You're lying. If he didn't do it, why didn't you say you're lying?
He's a liar, and that's what he does. I don't believe he called her 7 or 8 times. If you're not going to do a follow-up text, you're not going to call 7 or 8 times.
So why didn't she say something?
2, the other thing is, I still stand on, and this is the petty in me, I don't care. Like, you deserve to call me however 54, 11 many, I don't care. However many times, and I not pick up. You've done way too much for you to be calling shots like here.
No, I agree.
And maybe she felt like it didn't warrant her even acknowledging it. I'm sure he didn't call 7 or 8 times. He probably called 1 or 2 times. But maybe she felt like, right.
2.
Yeah. So maybe she felt like, I'm not even going to acknowledge that. Like, you don't give me nothing. You give me nothing at all. So I'm not going to give you anything back. So let's not even address that, because number one, you didn't call me that many times. Whatever. She just felt like I'm not going to say anything towards that.
Yeah. Okay, well, y'all, you gave me a little bit more of our understanding, so I can move on past that. So, okay. Because I was like, why is she not defending herself? I'm confused. Y'all, but they were sitting there and she asked him about, being, first of all, the way that the whole situation flipped so quick, like in a confessional saying, I'm attracted to her now and I can see this. And then like literally like 5 minutes later, oh, this ain't working. We don't have no connection. Sir, you haven't even tried. You haven't even moved into the house. Everyone else has moved in. You have not tried. You got what you wanted on the honeymoon and you did. That's exactly what he did. But y'all, she was asking him about his first engagement. And he was like, we, moved kind of quick. And she asked him like, okay, well, how long were y'all together before? I'm not telling you.
Yeah.
We are not in high school. Like literally their conversations and the way they communicate, I feel like I'm watching a couple high school or middle school kids. Like, I'm not telling you.
It does seem like that. It seems so immature, and it's like they don't even know how to. And I can't say they, honestly. I feel like, it's more of him. But because she's engaging in it, it just comes out as, the two, like, that's horrible. He kept moving, and she kept going. He was
but see, that's what it is. It's like you said, Brie, it is him, but she's engaging. She should have been like, dude, I'm your wife, and I need you to, like, we're having this serious conversation. Let's be real with each other.
And she 100% acts like, and this is in every situation, in that conversation when she allowed that to keep moving, in his actions when she allows it to happen, in her confessionals when she say stuff where she like get real hard and boss up in the confessionals, and when she talking to the girls, but she won't to him. The reason it hurts and it's so sad for me is because her actions towards him and the way she interacts is very timid, as if I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't want to do the wrong thing because I already know he's 1 foot out the door and this is, about to be over. And if I say something, it's going to push him over the edge. I truly feel like she's not going to push. She's not going to do anything because he going to blow up or leave. And that's so horrible. That's horrible that she has to be so on guard and so cautious for that reason.
I know, because, let me tell you something. That was a great example of like not wanting to push him over or push him out the door. Put your boot in his back and push him right out the door.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You say what you need to say and let him flop right on out. Because like you said, he's already halfway out. And as far as him blowing up, he's proved that he's not even going to do that. All he does is sit and let the steam come out of his ears and stomp off like a big baby. That's all. Power up, Paige, and let it loose. I just want her. I hope on that reunion, I hope a cousin is on the sidelines.
Somebody can be there.
Somebody comes and literally scoots sits in between Paige and him and is like, let me tell you something about all the ways that you were wrong on this whole entire season. Like,
can they get her somebody?
Somebody, even like, there's nobody. So,
I want to find a reunion at Paige. Where's it happening? I'll do it for you. I'll put my chair right.
Yes.
Right. Let me come up there.
Right. We gonna be up there.
Where they film at, Paige? Let me know. I'll do it for you.
So have y'all seen that? I think it was a GIF. They were saying like what Derek Jackson's wife should have done. And the guy was sitting in a chair and the girl stood up and like kicked him in the chest. Like that's what Paige need to do. Like, oh my God.
Exactly. She took all the force from the ancestors of everyone and put that boot in the middle. And that's what I was saying, his back or in his chest, and just knocked the wind out.
Yes. Y'all almost came recorded today with my bonnet on just to be in solidarity, but you know. Okay.
Oh God.
Yeah, I don't. Y'all, this is the last thing I'm gonna say. I literally was like, I was like, I know it. He not gonna leave me alone. And I knew he was gonna pop up when she was sitting there watching that video, but he didn't. I was so glad.
No,
goodness.
I was like, he just gonna come back. He not gonna leave me alone. He gonna come back again.
Girl, I was happy about that because I for a minute thought so too.
Yeah.
I thought they had panned to the door. I was like, please don't let this man come back. But I'm like, Paige.
Yeah. I don't know. Oh, you know what? She did say this, and I said this last week. I was saying I just feel like she's made like marriage an idol, and that's what it is. Mm-hmm. It's not even necessarily about being with him. And she said that when she was talking to the girl, she said that she was realizing she had fallen in love with the idea of marriage. Mm-hmm. And so I'm glad that she has come to that and be like, okay. And so maybe that's why when he was, if he did call her 7 times or the 1 or 2 times, finally she's like, you are not it. Like,
that was a moment of clarity for her, and I was proud of her because I felt like she's been in the fog for most of the season. So I was proud that she had that come to moment with herself of like, I think you really fell in love more with the idea of marriage than the person, and that's never a go. It's never gonna work.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks because like everybody, like Haley, like Jacob, like CLARA and Paige, they came on the show wanting to be married. I'm not saying everybody else didn't, but I'm talking about the couples that are not working. Mm-hmm. Like, even though Haley and Jacob, but they wanted to be married. They wanted a spouse. CLARA wants a spouse. I don't know what Brian wants. Paige wanted a husband. I don't know what Chris wants, but they wanted that. And specifically for like Haley, well, really, honestly, for Haley, Paige, and CLARA, I felt like the experts or whoever just did them a disservice.
Listen, for Ryan, I feel like this was one of my thoughts. I feel like Ryan you could throw a wig on a robot and just let her go through the house for Ryan.
Yeah.
Because that's fine. Okay.
Not a wig on a robot.
Girl.
That's what Eric wants too, a wig on a robot so he can be like, robot, do this.
Girl, right. Also, and put her in some 80s gear so that she can match his style. But yeah.
Right. Now,
I just feel like everyone deserves a redo. I really do. I feel like CLARA, Paige, and Haley, they just deserve it all over.
Jacob, they did him wrong. They should have matched him with someone just as quirky as he was.
Yeah.
That wasn't fair to try to make somebody want to deal with that. It wasn't. They should have matched them better. They did them, and I mean, Virginia likes Eric, on a surface level, but yeah, they need to rematch her too. They just need to get rid of Eric and Eric, Ryan, and Chris, and then give those girls some new husbands.
If Virginia married Eric, she would end up hating her and stay with him. She would end up hating the rest of her life. So that's just it's not gonna work.
I think she would be miserable, but you know what? I think CLARA would be miserable too. I think she would try to fight it and pretend like it was all good, but
okay. So let's make one. So before we go, let's just make one. I don't remember what our predictions were at the beginning. We'll have to go back and look at that and maybe next time talk about it. But of course, Brianna and Vincent are going to say yes.
That's it.
Day. But I think Clara and Ryan might say yes. Because I'm just so confused by the whole situation. I don't think they're going to last, but I think they're going to say yes. And I think that I want Virginia to say no, but I think she might say yes. But I just want her to say no. Yeah. And Chris is going to come back on decision day and be like, I think we should try.
Yeah, I think he's just going to do whatever for fun or for ratings, like Carrie said. He's just here for, like, the exposure, whatever fake exposure he thinks he's getting. I don't understand the exposure thing, because it's like you're not getting any good exposure. I mean, your light is just, like, it's not a good light that you're in, so I don't understand. Yeah.
Anyway. Let us know what y'all think in the comments. Who do y'all think is going to say yes on decision day? If you have not already done so, hit that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up. Hit the bell so you will be notified when our reviews come out. And yeah, we're looking forward to hopefully not seeing Chris next week.
Yes,
that would be best case scenario.
Okay. Yeah, and that's it. That's all we got.
That's all. Thanks for watching. See y'all later, ladies.
Bye.
Bye.